Greetings and welcome, I'm Ash, and today I would like to talk to you about Turbo Overkill, a fast-paced and explosion-fueled shooter with quite a large arsenal of weapons and abilities to toy around with. However, in order to counterbalance that, the enemies come in hordes and can deal a hefty chunk of damage if you're not careful. So if you're new to the genre, or simply curious about what to watch out for, allow me to share with you some simple tips and advice to help you get started. And without further ado, let us begin. Much like the rest of its boomer shooter brethren, the key to success in Turbo Overkill is to never stop moving. Dash from side to side, strafe around enemies, jump over them, or simply slide through them. Just whatever you do, do not stand still. Even on the lower difficulty settings, standing still is a surefire way to end up on the death screen, which is a lot less fun than exploding hordes upon hordes of baddies. So even if you struggle to be accurate due to all of the movement, just keep doing it because the enemies are going to be suffering from the exact same issue. In order to help you stay alive during the frantic firefights, Turbo Overkill gives you access to 2 dodges. However, once used, these dodges take a bit of time to come back, so if you're using them as often as you should, you're going to be running out of them quite frequently. This is where the good old chainsaw leg comes to the rescue. By launching yourself into a slide, you will gain a huge burst of speed, and with it, essentially a third dodge. And if you want to go really fast, you can also upgrade your chainsaw leg's launch speed in order to turn it into an endlessly repeatable boost. Needless to say, this really is quite handy. Turbo Overkill has a large arsenal of weapons, and they are by no means simple filler. Besides the primary attack of the very first pistol you receive, all the weapons and all of their firing modes have a use in their own scenarios. The double-barreled shotgun packs a punch but reloads slowly, so the weaker auto shotgun easily eclipses it against scattered enemies. If you're fighting a bunch of baddies on different elevations, then the pistol's lock-on mode can help you even the odds. And if you're trying to gun down powerful enemies from a distance, the precision rifle will do far more damage and hit far more frequently than the mighty chain gun. So learn to rely on all of the weapons, because every single one of them has a purpose. Turbo Overkill gives you access to a whole bunch of expensive upgrades from the very start of the game. However, while some of these might sound absolutely amazing, I would highly recommend first purchasing the weapon upgrades and not the character ones. Unlocking something like the flamethrower mode on the chain gun or the grenade launcher attachment on your double-barreled shotgun is a far better use of your coins than making you explode enemies upon landing from a great height. The latter is still fun, and you should absolutely get it later down the line, but for the first few levels, focus on the weapons as they will give you the greatest benefits. Speaking of upgrades, you might be tempted to pour everything you have into offense in order to finish the fight as quickly as possible. While that is certainly a valid option, I would recommend mostly focusing on defense for your first playthrough. Making enemies explode when you hit them with your wrist-mounted rockets is again great fun, but the less exciting upgrades like gaining health and armor while killing enemies with your chainsaw slide will go a long way towards keeping you alive and in the fight. Same thing goes with giving your dodges invincibility frames. It is one of those upgrades that might not sound all that exciting, but then again, you might just change your mind when you dodge straight through a swarm of missiles. Besides the usual pickups like health and armor, Turbo Overkill has 3 types of secrets: cassettes, tech chips, and chests. All 3 are well worth hunting for, but especially the chests. Chests give you access to free upgrades that are generally quite powerful while being fairly easy to sniff out, since the keys are always hidden very close to the chests themselves. Tech chips, on the other hand, give you access to new modifiers to help spice up your future playthroughs, while cassettes give you bonus content like the always handy horde mode. So if you're looking to get into as much content as possible, the secrets are well worth checking out. While Turbo Overkill's levels are by no means labyrinthine, you might occasionally miss some obvious clue and end up getting lost. Should this happen, the best advice is to simply follow the enemies. If you're moving towards an area that's constantly bombarding you with new foes, even if this is a place you've already been through, you are on the correct path. On the same hand, if everything around you is devoid of all life, simply go back to the scene of the last firefight and see if there's a convenient door or maybe just a marker you may have missed. Also, it is worth mentioning that certain doors and areas require you to kill all enemies in order to proceed. These places are usually walled off with pink energy shields, so if you find yourself running into one of those, just make sure to turn back, finish off any stragglers, and then continue on your merry way. And there you have it, 7 small pieces of advice to hopefully make your first run through Turbo Overkill a nice and pleasant one. Naturally, this is still a boomer shooter we're talking about, so you are most likely going to die a bunch of time regardless. But rather than stress about it, just jump back in and give it another bash. Trust me, you'll find yourself getting a lot better and very quickly. Thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed this, or even if you didn't, please do let me know. If you would like to see more, make sure to subscribe, hit the stupid bell, pet your chainsaw, and do whatever other nonsense you gotta do these days. Thank you again for watching, and I do hope to see you soon. Bye bye!